What's up, everybody? Everyone good? Friday, rocking. Cool. So, welcome back. Another CMA podcast coming at you live. Not live, but today definitely will be uploading the same day. Awesome. So, where are we? Okay. I just watched Conor versus Dustin's press conference, and I had a topic for discussion today already prepared, but it just ties in nicely with the topic and theme of today: sportsmanship and fairness in sports today. I won't go down the life path, but we'll just keep it strictly sports today because life isn't fair, right? But yeah, watching the press conference, everyone was banking on it being like animosity driven and trash talk because the respectful route doesn't work for Conor. It really doesn't. It's but in saying that, his trash talk today or yesterday when it happened was very poor, fake, forced. You know, when you talk about people trying to trash talk nowadays, it comes off as inorganic and forced, and you know, it's just not natural for that person, and it ends up looking really embarrassing, especially when they slur their words in the middle of an insult. Conor was talking about Jolie is Dustin's husband. Your wife is your husband. I don't understand how that's a funny insult. That's like something a 14-year-old says when he's walking away from someone, you know. Your wife is your husband. It doesn't make any sense. It's not funny, you know. The thing about Conor's trash talk, it's always been funny and organic and entertaining and to the point, like a guided missile. And on this occasion, no, swing and a miss. But yeah, sportsmanship. That ties in nicely with what I had prepared. So I started competing, I guess, in the boxing clinic in Cork, and I really got the sense of sportsmanship when I had my first few boxing fights. I think my first 4 boxing fights were against training partners of mine, people in the gym. So there'd be like, 20 boxers, and the owner would hook up 10 fights, and we'd have the fights in the hotel, various hotels around Cork City. So my first 4 fights were against guys that I trained with and had good respect for, and good camaraderie, good chemistry, no heroic crap from them, and you just knew you were fighting a good guy. So there was no animosity, there was no need for trash talk because you couldn't say anything bad about these certain people. And I just remember having these fights and having so much fun doing it because I knew I'd put in the work. I see they're putting in the work. You're nervous for the fight because you know they're good fighters. And a lot of people don't see that in their first few fights and end up building up this fake, negative, testosterone-driven hatred for your opponent, Whereas I was fighting my training partners, and people are like, how can you fight your training partner? Well, you're in a sport where the aim is to punch someone in the face, and I would rather punch a friend than an enemy. Yeah, that's a really strange theory, but when you're in the sport, when you're in the moment, the guy has trained hard, put in all the work, is there every night. The game was who would be at the gym first, who would leave first, That was a lot of fun for me as well. I'd be there hitting the bag and my opponent would walk in. I'm like, I've been here for 2 hours, man, you're late. And then he'd be leaving early for whatever reason. I was like, see ya, I got more training to do, Just this camaraderie. And it was all in good fun, all in good humor. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my first 4 fights against guys I knew. It was a lot of fun. Not to mention the party after, People who came to see me, my friends, my family, people who came to see him or them, all hanging out in the bar after, drinking, having fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, sportsmanship was something that was very important for me from the get-go, because I didn't want to be in a situation where it was just like all negative, and I wanted to be in a positive space, and I did. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of great coaches teaching me what it was to be a respectful fighter, and then like to translate that out into your real like personal life outside of the gym, whether it's in your relationship or your work or your career or whatever it is, whatever relationship you're dealing with, that fairness and that respect and that positivity and everything, just, it shined. Do you say shined or shun? I don't know. But it's just, it brought out a very positive side for me, because when I fought somebody that I didn't know, I translated that energy over, and I didn't need to hate this guy. I didn't need to, in my head, create some sort of fake animosity. You know, I could see this physical specimen, this guy who looks good, he trains hard, he's got a good physique. He's obviously put in the time in the gym. He knows what he's doing. And I got to fight him. Always ended in a high five and a hug and exchange numbers or follow each other on social media. I've got many friends who I fought on my contact list that basically wouldn't change for the world. These guys are very, very good guys. 4 in particular in the boxing clinic, maybe 5. Just a lot of fun, a lot of respect, a lot of positive energy. You translate that over into your real life, you're going to have a good time. That's what I say to my guys all the time. No fighting when it's sparring. We do not fight for free. You want to fight? We organize a fight. We try and get you paid. But you're not fighting your guy tonight. This is your training partner. This is not your enemy. This is not your person to punch and knock out. They probably have work tomorrow. You don't want to go to work with a broken nose. So, sparring for fun, 70-80%. Fight sparring, different case. But yeah, that brings the topic into fairness. Like what I see in the news nowadays about these, I don't know, I want to be very careful how I word this, but transgender males who now identify as females competing in female sports, female categorized sports of the event. I saw a weightlifting transgender, what would you say? Help me out here, guys. Transgender female now identifies as a female in female sports, previously a male. See Fallon Fox. I think he or she is Brazilian, formerly Brody something. Now identifies as a female, competes against females. Google that person, Fallon Fox. Is that fair? Do I think that's fair? Do I think that's acceptable? Do I think that's okay? Absolutely fucking not! You know? Do I offend someone because of that opinion? Is that okay? Shots fired, I guess. But I'll watch anything. I'll watch anything if I think it's fair. Bare knuckle boxing? I'll watch bare knuckle boxing. That new organization that's taken over. There's a fight at the end of the month, I think. Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich. I mean, who's not going to watch that, right? I mean, you got to be crazy not to want to watch that fight, right? As a fight fan, you are batshit crazy if you think I'm not going to watch that fight. You know? As long as it's fair. Bare knuckle, little bit barbaric. Didn't really have much traction over the years. Now they've got some good traction. They market their fighters well. They pay their fighters well. And it's fair. I'll watch that. I love female fighting. One of my favorite fights, Ronda Rousey versus Amanda Nunes. Poor Ronda was like a punching bag the entire fight. But it was a fair matchup. Two women, same weight. Not so, I mean, Ronda had more experience. She'd been doing it longer. Bigger persona. Everyone thought Ronda would win. She got knocked the fuck out. One of my all-time favorite fights that I watch on a regular basis on YouTube, Chris Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes. Everyone said Amanda was afraid to fight. They're not making the fight because Amanda's afraid. She's scared. She was like, no, like Cyborg is a 175-pound fighter. She cuts to 145. I need about a year to put on the right amount of weight, the right amount of muscle. She took a year. They signed the fight. She came in on weight. And she destroyed Cyborg. Watch those two fights. They're both on YouTube. Ronda versus Amanda and Amanda versus Cyborg. But fair. Absolutely fair. I would love, as we're on topic, I would love to see some of the 135 or 145 fighters, men, come across and try and fight Amanda Nunes. I would watch that. I would 100% watch that fight. The first intergender title in the UFC. Dana, Sean Shelby, Hunter, Campbell, the lawyer, get on that. You're welcome. That was my idea. Royalties. But fair. Why is it we're talking about male athletes going through whatever they're going through, now identify as women, going into female sports? Why is it that is allowed? I don't know. Watching some of those Fallon Fox highlights is hard for me to see. I wouldn't think that that's fair. And I think a lot of people would be afraid to speak out their mind in relation to going against the trend of discrimination. No one wants to see anybody discriminated against, but I do think that if we really break it down and dissect the topic, you're having a male going through some issues, now identifying as a female, fighting or competing in a female sport and destroying and dominating, and we're all just meant to sit there and talk very, very light and on eggshells about the fairness of this. Oh, it's great. Good for her. Good for her. I think I'll get off this topic now because it makes me angry. I've been working on my off the mic words. But fairness and sportsmanship in fighting is important because you're not just swinging a golf club. You're not just swinging a baseball bat or shooting a ball into a goal or a basketball hoop or whatever the case may be. You're dealing with people and their heads and their bodies, and people get hurt. Like, this all ties in with the whole steroids in competition as well, because, you know, you take steroids on a baseball pitch and you hit a ball further. You do the same. You run faster on a basketball court, football pitch, American football, darts, tennis. You take steroids, it may help you physically. You take steroids in fights, you could end up really, really hurting somebody permanently. Not fair. Not a sportsmanlike act, says the guy who almost took steroids. But again, I'm glad I didn't. I would regret it. I probably wouldn't be on this podcast if I took steroids. There is a plane outside now. Planes and helicopters this week, guys. I think that's it for me today. I'll keep this one short. Thank you guys very, very much for listening. Amazing traction with subscribers this week. It has grown. If it keeps growing at this pace, I'll be a very happy man. My goal is to get a sponsor by the end of the year so that we can push and help the small businesses of Lucerne, Switzerland, or outside of Lucerne, Switzerland, if this podcast takes traction outside of the country where I live, work, and am. So thanks again for everyone who subscribed. I don't want to be cheeky and say share, but I'm going to be. I want you guys to help me. Reaching out for help is a very vulnerable position to put yourself in, whether it's for your mental health, your physical well-being, or to grow a podcast that your goal is to help others. But we need to grow this podcast, and we need to grow it fast because we need sponsors. We need to help small businesses. I need to push clientele in the direction of a future sponsor. That is my goal. My business model is based on Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy, El Presidente, who has taken his platform and has done more than any politician has ever done, ever, anywhere. And that is a hard statement to make. But in the interest of fairness, I'm not in this to make a lot of money. I'm in this to help and to get my voice out, to voice my opinions, and to get other people on. I think I'm going to have my first guest outside of my partner next week. We're trying to figure that out because he does not live in the same country, and time might be a problem. So I'm going to work on that and get back to you guys very, very soon. Again, thanks everyone who subscribed. Now, what I want from you guys is to hit the like button, smash it, put in a comment. I'm ready. Give me some negativity, man. I need some negativity. I'm ready for the online hate. Positivity is also nice. Hey, Dave, nice baseball hat. I'm also a Motorhead fan. And then we'll just get the comments going from there. Make friends in the comments. Talk to each other. Is this too animated? I don't know. I'm just a guy with a mic saying words. Thank you very much again for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. And let's all just enjoy the weekend of fights. Enjoy Conor versus Dustin, and possibly we're going to do a breakdown on Sunday between myself and my partner Evo, just talking about what all went down. So until then, thank you very much. Rock and roll.